The Action News starts right now with breaking news.
And we are uncovering new developments on breaking news we've been updating you on all morning long. A deputy-involved shooting in Madeira Beach. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ashley Glass.
And I'm Dan Schaefer. Our crews have been digging for new information and uncovered the deputy involved has actually had to use his weapon before.
Let's get right out to ABC Action News reporter Adam Weiner live at Johns Pass to explain more about this morning's bizarre chain of events. Adam?
That's right. Well, the sheriff's explanation for how this all got started was that a deputy was trying to help a drunk man get his pants back on when that man went after the deputy's gun. That man, according to the sheriff's office, a man named Dylan Tompkins Holmes. He's in the hospital right now after being shot once in the wrist and once in the abdomen.
So Deputy Verdon was trying to help him, and as he was trying to help him is when he turned around and with his hands, and because it was very tight quarters between the door jamb, the car, and the seat, and where Deputy Verdon was is that he was able to reach for his gun. Tompkins Holmes offered no active resistance to Deputy Verdon and that he never touched Deputy Verdon's gun. Back up. At that point, a struggle ensued, and Tompkins Holmes reached for Deputy Verdon's gun and took the gun out of the holster, and there was a struggle over the gun. Moreover, when Deputy Verdon shot Tompkins Holmes, as established by Deputy Verdon's own statements, the only gun was the one completely in the hands of Deputy Verdon, and Tompkins Holmes was handcuffed behind his back at the time he was shot. During the course of that struggle, Deputy Verdon was concerned and feared for his safety and his life as his gun was in the hands of Tompkins Holmes, and they continued to struggle for it. Assuming Deputy Verdon's version, which did not happen, occurred, Deputy Verdon claims that he was able to take the gun back out of Dylan Tompkins Holmes' hands, and then he shot him. If this was the case, the only gun that was there was the gun in Deputy Verdon's hands, and Dylan Tompkins Holmes was no longer a threat to Deputy Verdon. Again, assuming Deputy Verdon's version, which is just impossible. It didn't happen, couldn't happen, there's no way. Is at that point, the threat was eliminated. And all he had to do was step back or walk away and put distance. There was no justification for shooting Dylan Tompkins Holmes after Deputy Verdon had the only gun that was present there in his hands, and Tompkins Holmes was still handcuffed behind his back. Deputy Verdon was able to get his gun back, and he shot Tompkins Holmes twice. One round hit him in the wrist and in the thigh. The other one was in his abdomen. So there's no evidence of any struggle. There's no evidence of anybody reaching for a gun. When somebody is handcuffed behind their back, they can move around and depending upon the angle. And what happened is that based on the angle the deputy was at and the angle that Tompkins Holmes was at, he was able to reach and put his hands around the side and grab the deputy's gun from over. In order to accept this version, you also have to accept the fact that Dylan Tompkins Holmes, where there's no evidence that he had any indication at all about how these retention holders work, and you have to accept the fact that he did it while handcuffed behind his back, while pressure against his chest, and did it with his non-dominant hand towards Deputy Verdon's gun while his blood alcohol content was a .28. And he is wedged down in there, so he's sitting down like this. His hands are handcuffed behind his back. And so he, in his hands, are in here between the seat and his body. So in order for this to have happened, he has to have taken his hands, come around like this, been able to, while handcuffed, do this, do this, do this, and then get the gun out. Didn't happen. No way. But it very easily can happen. No way. And it did happen in this case. Didn't happen. And it did happen in this case. Didn't happen. And it did happen in this case. Didn't happen. No way. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit!
We are the guardians of the truth. And it did happen in this case. Because it's always a bright day when the truth prevails. Didn't happen.
You said 2 shots were fired into the suspect. Were more shots fired out of the weapon?
No, just 2 shots. And the deputy did, under those circumstances, what he's trained to do, and that is to create distance.
I relive it in my head probably 5 times a day.
Other officers call Verdon a hero.
but that's not how he sees himself.
No, not at all. Just did what I was trained to do.
And the deputy did, under those circumstances, what he's trained to do. Deputy Verdon helped him off the floor of the car and took him to the side of the vehicle and attempted to help him get his pants back up.
Had I been sitting upright in the seat, I would have caught it in the mouth. All I remember is at least 3 large fireballs.
And the deputy did, under those circumstances, what he's trained to do, and that is to create distance and to get the gun back and to make sure that he's safe. And that's what happened. Simply put, Deputy Verdon's version of events could not and did not happen. Dylan Tompkins Holmes was being mouthy. That's it. So there's no evidence of any struggle. There's no evidence of anybody reaching for a gun. A struggle ensued, and Tompkins Holmes reached for Deputy Verdon's gun. Didn't happen. No way. During the course of that struggle, Deputy Verdon was concerned and feared for his safety and his life as his gun was in the hands of Tompkins Holmes, and they continued to struggle for it. Didn't happen. No way. All discretionary decisions must be within the parameters of law and policy, and when the decisions are outside policy and outside the law, the deputy must be held accountable. There's nothing more important than doing what is right, and nobody is above the law. I have an obligation to our deputies, but I have a larger obligation to the citizens we serve, the office of sheriff and its integrity, the law enforcement profession as a whole, and of utmost importance, upholding the public's trust placed in us in performing our duties. This matter has been thoroughly investigated and charges brought within 1 month of the shooting, as would occur had the shooter not been a deputy sheriff. We demonstrate here today that nothing is more important than the truth. Making a mistake is human, lying about it and making up facts that could not happen is not, and that is wrong and will not stand. Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri here this afternoon to announce the arrest of Deputy Tim Verdon on a charge of attempted manslaughter. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. Deputy Verdon shot Dylan Tompkins Holmes after arresting him on a misdemeanor charge of obstructing. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. Our investigation determined that Deputy Verdon was not justified in shooting Tompkins Holmes. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. Deputy Verdon violated state law and committed the crime of attempted manslaughter when he shot Dylan. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. The state attorney also concluded that Deputy Verdon's shooting of Tompkins Holmes violated state law and that Deputy Verdon committed the offense of attempted manslaughter. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. The judge issued a warrant for Deputy Verdon's arrest, and Deputy Verdon turned himself in this morning at the Pinellas County Jail. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. He was booked and released after posting bond. As a result, I have terminated Deputy Verdon's employment with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. In this case, Deputy Verdon acted contrary to law and policy and did not accept responsibility for his actions. Rather, he fabricated facts to justify the unjustifiable, and in doing so stooped to that which he is supposed to stand against as a law enforcement officer. And he made the situation worse than it ever would have been had he just owned up to his actions. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. Instead of explaining what actually happened, Deputy Verdon made up facts that simply could not have occurred and are wholly inconsistent with the physical evidence and the eyewitness testimony of another deputy. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. Deputy Verdon shot Tompkins Holmes while he was unarmed and handcuffed behind his back. I believe that Tim Verdon is a good man. The civil law applicable to this case is complex, but suffice it to say, when a deputy commits a criminal act, the agency is not liable for damages caused by the deputy's actions. Any successful civil rights suit would be against the deputy individual and not against the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. In short, we have no civil liability to pay monetary damages, as that would fall to Deputy Verdon personally because of his criminal act. All discretionary decisions must be within the parameters of law and policy, and when the decisions are outside policy and outside the law, the deputy must be held accountable. The office of sheriff and its integrity, the law enforcement profession as a whole, and of utmost importance, upholding the public's trust placed in us in performing our duties.